Hey everybody, a long time no see. As promised, here I am back in November after I've had my second NACA appointment. So today is November 16th. My appointment was actually last Tuesday, but it's been a crazy last few days, so I haven't had time to do this update how I plan to do it the day of, but whatever. So basically, my appointment was last Tuesday, the 10th, and things took place. So Monday, let me just let me just back up to the beginning. So Monday, I was like, okay, cool. The meeting's tomorrow. It's at like 11 o'clock, I think it was. I'm just making sure I went to go check the web file, make sure I had everything up to date. My pay stubs, the bank statements, credit card statements, all that good stuff. I'm making sure that my ducks were in a row. Something in my spirit was just like, I wonder why I haven't gotten a confirmation email, like about the appointment tomorrow, about the link, because of course the panty is still going on, so everything's still being done online. So I'm like, okay, I was like, I couldn't remember, but I was like, I'm almost positive I got an email the day before my last appointment, but I couldn't remember. That was in August. I don't even remember what August looked like at this point. Um, but I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and call them. And thank God I did. So I called them and I was like, hey, my name is so and so. I'm supposed to have an appointment with so and so tomorrow at this time. And the woman I was talking to, she was really nice. She was really, really nice. She was like, okay, yeah, let me look into that for you. And she had me on hold for a minute. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, this was set up months ago, so I couldn't, in my head at least, I couldn't see what kind of problem she could have been running into until she told me what problem she ran into. This woman gets back on the phone, and bless her heart, and tells me that the mortgage counselor that I was working with is no longer with that company. And I'm just like, so what does that mean exactly? And she was like, well, we would have to get you a new counselor. And I was like, that's fine. I guess I don't have a point. I don't have a point. I don't have a choice if, the person that I was working with, if he's no longer with the company, what can I do about that? But what I was concerned about was the fact that my appointment was tomorrow, meaning the next day, that Tuesday. And I didn't want to have to reschedule because I had to take off work for this because it was earlier in the day. It's not like after my shift is over. I was like, it's literally almost the end of the year. I got to give my notice in January. Like, I can't really afford to wait because time is going by like this right now. So she put me back on hold for a minute. And when she got back, she told me that she was able to, keep my appointment and it would be with a new counselor. I said, all right, bet I can do that. And I was like, so when he was no longer with the company, meaning the old mortgage counselor, I was like, do y'all not notify people of that? And she said no. And I was like, so in the event that somebody has a mortgage counselor, they quit, they leave the company, they get fired, whatever the case may be, and they have an appointment, I'm like, so if they don't double check with y'all before then, what's supposed to happen? She's like, well, if they give us a call, we of course can reschedule it for them. And I'm like, and if they don't, like if they are not under, if they have no idea and they just assume that everything is on the up and up, like what do y'all do for them? Pretty much nothing. So be aware of that. If you are going through this process, I would suggest double checking with them beforehand to ensure that your mortgage counselor is still employed, or just make sure that everything is everything, because I would have been asked out had I not checked with those people. Like I said, she was cool about it, so she got everything set up for me. I ended up getting the email with the new person's name, time, stays the same, everything's cool. So now it's Tuesday. This appointment's coming. I'm ready for it. I've been waiting for it for months. I'm a little anxious. I was concerned because I'm like, God, I hope we don't have to go over everything like we did last time, because the last appointment I had was almost like 2 hours long. Like, it was a minute. We was going over like everything. So I was hoping that it wasn't going to be that time consuming. But It was actually the total opposite. It was quick as hell, is what it was. Quick as hell. Me and that man could not have been on the phone more, not on the phone, but they're still using the go-to meeting. We could not have been on there more than like 30 minutes. And I think that's even being generous. Not assuming, but including the time that it took for me to get in contact with him. Because I'm very punctual, so we're gonna do something 11 o'clock. I expect you to be ready at 10:55, 10:50 really. So when I hadn't got a call, because they said that they'll call you before the meeting starts, or they'll email you before the meeting starts to give you like the little code or whatever. When 10:55 rolled around, I'm like, ain't nobody called my phone, ain't nobody emailed me. I'm calling NACA like, hey, my appointment's today. Ain't nobody reached out to me, yada, yada, yada. And I was told, oh, well, they have until 15 minutes after your appointment time to contact you. Okay. So I waited until 11:15. That's how long it took. And then I had his phone number in that confirmation email that I was sent the day before. So I called him, and surprisingly, he answered. So I was like, hey, this is so-and-so. I'm your 11 o'clock. And he was like, oh, I was just about to call you. My last meeting ran over, which I understand completely. I don't like it, but I understand it. So, he didn't even introduce himself. Luckily, I saw his name on the email. He just kind of got right to it, but I was like, well, shit, all right, let's go. If you're ready, I'm ready. So he's going over everything, and he literally did not know that I had a counselor before him. I had to tell him that. And he was just like, did you do this, and this, and this? And I was like, yeah, this is actually my second appointment. But, the guy that I had before, I was informed that he's no longer with the company. And he was like, oh, okay, so then we don't even have to do all of this. And I was like, I guess not then. I guess we don't. So he's looking through everything. He was like, oh, well, everything looks good. The only thing we are missing is what's that? I cannot think of the form, but trying to get stuff right now from the student loan people. What are some people called? Federal aid? The people who got the student loans. They have been beating around the bush with me forever on this document that I do need, that basically states that the student loans are in deferment until January. And I'm like, bro, that's national news right now. Why do I need this specific piece of paper when every other student or someone who has student loans, current or former student, this is the case for everybody. I was annoyed that that's what was holding me up right now, and that I still hadn't gotten it yet, because I was told that I needed that from the last guy I talked to, but I've had no luck trying to get it. Luckily, as of today, I have it now. Great. So I had to sign a few things, because pretty much after I get like 3 more pieces of documentation in, the thing for the student loans, and he had to do what was it called? A rental verification history, because he said that the dates that I submitted for my rental history didn't match up. And I was like, to be honest with you, dude, I don't remember when I lived there. Like the dates, I just remember the months, because I'm one of those people who I move out before my lease is up, because I'm already trying to get settled somewhere else, instead of like waiting till, oh, well, my lease is up on the 1st. I'm not moving till the 1st. I don't like doing that. I think that's stupid. So if I can find another place and actually have time to take my time and move in and get my things together when that works on my schedule, that's what I do. But to each his own. That's just how I handle it. So some of those dates clearly overlapped. So he has to do like an actual verification check on this. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So he needed those 3 pieces of documentation. But then he told me that my reserves amount is different. So I was initially given a number. I have met that number. And he was like, okay, but this isn't enough. Says who? So I was trying to ask, what's the difference between when this guy looked at it versus when you're looking at it? It was the same information. Like my pay has not changed. My debt has gone down, because, it's been 4 months since then, and I've been working on, getting these things paid off. It wasn't high amounts to begin with. It was small. It's small stuff. So I was just concerned. I'm like, okay, if anything, why would it be going up and not down? Because it's like the money I did owe back in August, like most of that is obsolete at this point, or close to being obsolete. So he was just like, well, we just want to make sure that you have the money, that you have to have the maximum amount for the mortgage you can afford. And I was like, I understand that completely, but I was already given a maximum amount and given a number that I had to have in my account. Oh, and by the way, in my last video, I said I was confused about that reserves money, which account it has to be in. According to this young man, that amount that you're given that you have to have when they submit you to underwriting, it can be a combination of your checking and savings. According to him is what he said. Now, if he's still my mortgage counselor by our next meeting, I guess I'll find out again. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to trip too much about it. It wasn't that much higher than the last amount. So I'm like, okay, that's no big deal. I'm not going to trip on it, because if this is what I got to do to get to my goal, so be it. So I left that alone, and then he was just like, okay, so I'm going to set our appointment for the next few weeks. Because he was like, pretty much after you get the documentation and you have just your account showing this much, because it's gonna have to be on a bank statement. And I was like, okay, so that's like a month behind. I get it. Basically, they can submit me to underwriting. I was like, oh, okay, that's a plus. So he has it set for like December. I want to say it's like the first or second week of December. It's on my phone, and I'm using my phone right now, so I can't get the exact date. So that's when we're supposed to be meeting again. But what killed me about that is he said, I don't have any openings, so I'm going to have to call you like when the day is over. And I was a little iffy about that, because I'm like, one, are you going to remember to do this? Because he said, I'm going to put your appointment for 7:00, but we don't take appointments at 7:00. That's pretty much just going to be my reminder to call you and, see where everything is. And I was like, all right, if that's what you say you can handle, you can remember this, cool. So I didn't get a confirmation for this now. This is just what this man told me. So I'm like, all right. So I had to send him some paperwork. I had to give a release form for the apartments that I was living in, my current one and the last one, to do a rental history verification on me. Basically, you're like, did you have any late payments? Do you still owe the money? Stuff of that nature. And I also had to get him the student loans form. Now, he told me about an app that I could use to just sign stuff, send it right back. I sent it back the same day. And as of today, I am still waiting on a response from him as far as to if he got the documents and are they correct. Now, the student loans thing, like I said, that took me a minute to get, but as soon as I got that, I sent it right to him. I still have not heard back from this man. I called, I left a message, I've emailed. I have not heard anything from him. And I was like, Lord, if this man has quit, be offense, please. Be offense, because I don't like when I have sent information and I get no response of any kind. Like, I think that's really rude. I think it's really unprofessional. Like, at least say you got it. Like, send thanks, got it, something. But I guess we'll find out next time on Dragon Ball Z if he ever got the information. But we're still going with the process. It hasn't killed me yet, but we'll see if I can actually get submitted to underwriting. I am pretty annoyed that I have to save more money, but I guess it's not a bad thing to have more. But that's kind of where we're at. It's still going on. We'll see where we're at in December. So you guys will get another update from me in a couple of weeks. I really want to say it's the second week, but I'm not sure off the top of my head. Whenever it is, it's when you'll get a video for it. But thanks so much for watching. If you are keeping up with me in this journey, I hope I'm helping in some way, shape, or form. I hope everybody is being safe out there. I hope your family is just safe. Y'all, please stay in the damn house. If you can, of course, if you can. If you can't, then don't. If you got to work or something. I know everybody isn't able to work from home and stuff, so I totally understand that. But, child, we've been doing this for 10 months now? I think it's been 10 months. Whew, that's depressing. Okay, next subject. But thanks again for watching. Y'all be blessed. Have a great day. Good night.